Alejandro Maldonado kicks it off for Oregon here, and it'll be returned by Arizona State. They'll have the first possession in this Pac-12 showdown game, and LaMichael James will not be playing. Not in uniform. Dislocated his elbow last week after he had a big night, averaging 170 yards rushing. And so, Herbie, without the great LaMichael James, what do the Ducks do here?
The Ducks, when they get the ball, they're going to feel that they can do a lot of the same things with Kenyon Barner and Anthony Thomas, the freshman back. But right now, it's Brock Osweiler, the big 6'8" junior quarterback for Arizona State.
So on the season, Osweiler, who is from Kalispell, Montana, has completed 67% of his passes for better than 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And they go empty for Coach Dennis Erickson here for 2nd and 10. Caught incomplete, and terrific defense. Mike Willie, Anthony Gilden.
And Brett, this is going to be a big battle for Arizona State and Oregon because the Oregon corner is going to be on an island. Anthony Gilden goes up and is able to knock that ball away. Remember, Mike Willie, who's a vertical receiver, is 6'4". Jarrell Robinson, also 6'4". Both those receivers had a big game last week against the Utah defense on the road.
4 wide receivers. Cameron Marshall is the running back alongside Osweiler. That's Miles in motion 32. Did they get the first down? Short of it. And the first down marker.
Yes, sir, Brett. And again, it's the corner play by the Oregon Ducks. A question at the beginning of the year because of the suspension of Cliff Harris. Cliff Harris now back, but Terrence Mitchell makes one play, and Anthony Gilden makes the first.
The 6'4" Josh Hubner punts it away, and the fair catch on the 20-yard line. So it was last week against Cal. James had just come 3 yards short of scoring a touchdown. Watch. Steps out of bounds. Now that sets up this next play. He had scored a touchdown. It was called back. And on this play, the elbow is dislocated as he falls down on the right arm, running into that wall of defensive linemen. And now he is out indefinitely for the Ducks.
See, he's got the visor on. He mentioned that this week. He wanted to have a Chip Kelly visor and try to be an assistant coach, helping out Kenyon Barner and Anthony Thomas.
Darren Thomas throws underneath, and here is Dwayne DeAnthony Thomas.
Brent, I had a chance to speak with head coach Chip Kelly. He said the doctors had the final say if LaMichael James would play, and they simply said he just needed more time. They didn't want to put him in harm's way. What they missed the most, LaMichael's leadership, Brent.
So that means that Kenyon Barner, number 24, will be the tailback. And there's fumble. Ball is loose on the ground. There's a scrum for it. Parker, the linebacker, is right there in the middle of things for the Sun Devils. They can say all they want.
Colin Parker, the senior, and really the leader, he gets his hand on that football as Kenyon Barner is trying to fight for extra yards. Arizona State that catches a big break. Remember, they created 5 turnovers last week against Utah. They've created 17 turnovers in the last 4 games. The trend continues in this first possession for Oregon. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
Greg Bray is one of the most underrated defensive coordinators in the country. Osweiler comes back with Marshall carrying the ball for the first time. Cameron Marshall, the junior from San Jose, California. Let's take a look at the impact players brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Yep, and they'll try to run the football, but really it's Brock Osweiler and his group of wide receivers. Jamal Miles is a running back that they'll use a lot in motion, try to get the ball thrown out to the outside on the perimeter. And we've mentioned Mike Willie, a vertical threat that they want to get the one-on-one matchup to.
Osweiler. Incomplete. His receiver wide open, and a penalty flag is thrown by the referee.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 2-step knockdown on number 52. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's stuck.
It's interesting, Brent, on the road, Arizona State early in this game doing what they need to do, and it's Oregon who's making the mental miscues. The fumble, and now DeWitt here with the late hit on the quarterback, Osweiler.
They come back with the running game, and the middle of Coach Aliotti's defense was ready for that. Motion to the short side. Osweiler looks in that direction. It's complete to the 20-yard line. And this will bring up a 3rd and 8. Pflugrad. And that is Aaron Pflugrad, who transferred from Oregon to Arizona State, who made the grab.
How about the linebackers? All 3 of them that time. And it's DeWitt this time. DeWitt stuck. He actually gets there just a bit late, but it's not a late hit on the quarterback. But a good job of recognizing that blitz and getting the ball out of his hands by Osweiler.
Osweiler looks in zone. Touchdown, Arizona State. A terrific throw to Jarrell Robinson. 3-yard scoring strike. And he saw Robinson break open.
An outstanding read by Osweiler. He had time to make the read. We talked about Jamal Miles out in the flat. It held the defense just for a second to respect the perimeter throw to the outside. It kept the defense up, and he went right over top of them for the touchdown pass. Great recognition and a great read on back-to-back throws by Osweiler.
And Alex Garrett makes the extra point, leading 7-0. The 2 touchdown underdogs from Tempe, Arizona. And now Barner is back deep with DeAnthony Thomas. DeAnthony fields this one from the 7-yard line. The freshman starts upfield, and he is out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Brent, on a touchdown, there's actually a little bit of confusion by Oregon right here. You can see that Avery Patterson is a little bit confused trying to get the right call. What also is interesting here is the running back Miles, who's been going in motion, is going to settle out here. Look at the confusion and the hesitation by the Oregon defense, and eventually the receiver that gets downfield, Robinson, gets behind him, but because they respected Jamal Miles in motion, they sat there up tight. Good read by Osweiler.
There's a delay with Barner, his second carry, and he is slammed at the 25-yard line. Perfect and Parker, 2 of the Sun Devil linebackers, stopped the run.
This is where you hope Darren Thomas, as a leader, if you're Chip Kelly, is able to settle this offense down and be able to get this team to be able to bounce back after that first possession where they gave the football up with Kenyon Barner and then gave up that first touchdown.
Darren Thomas keeps it himself, just short of the 30-yard line, and Clint Floyd comes up to make the stop.
The coaches from Oregon will mix in, because you don't have LaMichael James. Kenyon Barner's the man that we'll be talking about a lot. Anthony Thomas will be back there, and Trey Carson. They'll mix them up as often as they can to try to keep them all fresh. But I think they really feel Barner's got to be the guy.
Play fake, and it is Darren, the quarterback, again, and he is short of the first down on that 3rd down. And let's see what Chip Kelly does. Going to let this one bounce out of bounds. And it did not go out of bounds. It just kept hopping Oregon's way until it finally rolls out. The D-Ride Observatory in the Cascade Mountains of Oregon. That's an open shelter, folks, constructed with lava stone. Osweiler takes it over now from the 11-yard line, up by 7. Marshall picks his way, and he's thrown for a loss as we go to Reese Davis for an update.
Sooners struggling so far with Kansas, but about to score right now.
And Reese Marshall was stopped for a short gain here. Herbie, what's your feeling about Kansas State staying unbeaten?
Bill Snyder. They are a football team that has really taken on his personality. Scrappy. Colin Klein playing quarterback, 2 non-offensive touchdowns today. They are a team that they're a lot of fun to watch. Got Oklahoma in a couple weeks in Manhattan. Should be
a big one.
Yep.
3rd and 11. Osweiler swings it to the outside, trying to get some space, and Miles is forced out of bounds, well short of the first down. Cliff Harris, ever dangerous one. That's a beautiful punt. Let's watch Harris. One of the more dangerous punt return men in the nation. Crosses midfield. So Darren Thomas will work with half a field. That's a 52-yard punt, but a 22-yard return.
And like you said, this is always where the fun begins. The arguments start, and let the games begin. This starting tomorrow.
Let's see if Darren Thomas now starts to put it up a little bit. He throws that quick screen outside. And
good job that time by Floyd, fighting through a block to get to the ball carrier.
Going to throw it again, this time a little bit more downfield, and that's Paulson, the tight end. And he had a first down, but he was out of bounds. There's a personal foul on Burfict. Montez Burfict pursued him out of bounds, and they're going to add 15 yards, and that is a dumb penalty.
It's been a thing that has affected his game throughout his 3 years of playing at Arizona State. In fact, the coach is telling us.
After the play, personal foul on the defense, number 7, late hit, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Coach is telling us this week they think it's affected his game because he's trying to pull back from these types of plays. But tonight he's fired up. Paulson out of bounds right there. Whistles are blown. Not only does he hit him, Brent, but he locks him up and throws him down to the ground. Arizona State up to that point doing everything that they needed to do to be able to go into a tough environment like Autzen Stadium and win a tough game.
Now it's in the red zone. And they run the option and pitch it out. And there's DeAnthony Thomas taking it to the end zone. Here's a young man who's a true freshman, and he was nicknamed by Snoop Dogg Black Mamba. And Black Mamba has just taken it to the end zone.
And Brent, personal fouls affect not just yardage, but momentum. And Oregon capitalizing on an opportunity where they had great field position, the 15 yards after the hit on Paulson, and the very next play, a nice option play to get the ball to the outside to the speedster, DeAnthony Thomas, touchdown, and the momentum completely shifts in his football game.
You could see as they set up for a two-point conversion, if the defense did not recognize it and there was a numbers game, the Ducks were going to go for it. Burfict breaks through, and the extra point is still good. Deadlocked at 7. Jamal Miles on the return. Taken down at the 23-yard line.
Right on that option play, quarterback does a good job of attacking down, and eventually he's going to make the pitch. But watch the blocks on the outside by Huff and Tuine. Starts with Darren Thomas attacking the outside linebacker, Oliver Aaron takes him out, but look at the hustle downfield that time by Huff and Tuine, taking their men out of the play.
And he broke the tackle of Elder also on that run, so he's got strength as a freshman too. First down and 10. Osweiler's running game not working, throws it downfield for a first down. They go on the attack, and that is Mike Willie, and Willie is coming off a huge game. He caught 7 balls last week for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You can see the double slant takes the linebacker more to the middle of the field, opening up a nice passing lane that time. And Brock Osweiler so far, Brent, really in rhythm throwing the football. 5 of 7 with a touchdown so far.
And it did not take Oregon long to get Cliff Harris on the field. Out of the doghouse, and he's out there to see what he can do about this passing attack. He's on the corner right now as they slip one to Miles. Noel Mazzoni has been working on that release for 2 years. And there he is, snapping it off again, just on cue, Herbie.
A nice job again. This kid is really seeing the field right now and making good decisions. That time, another slant. This time, he goes to the inside slant. The receiver got behind the linebacker, Stuckey, and he threw it where only his man, Robinson, could make a play on it, behind the linebacker and in front of the safety.
Slip it outside. Basically, that's a running play, and Marshall's going nowhere. Surrounded, and Eddie Pleasant, who a couple of years ago was a linebacker here, and then last year moved to safety, and Aliotti telling us that he's really starting to learn how to play the position.
Nice to see Eddie Pleasant in coverage. In the past, he was more of a physical linebacker and safety, and this year, because of the lack of experience in certain spots, he's had to cover out in space, and he's been able to make plays in space because of his athletic ability.
8 straight completions for Osweiler. Makes it 9 complete and picks up another first down as they cross the 30-yard line.
See, they're spreading Oregon from sideline to sideline, and then they're attacking back to the inside. They're picking on the linebackers and also man-to-man coverage. It's a long way to go if you're a corner and you're in man-to-man coverage. running across the entire field trying to stay with these wide receivers.
10 straight completions. Miles, the motion man. So that one was ruled a lateral and not a forward pass. So Osweiler is working on a string of 9. The 10th one was actually a lateral.
They're late to come out of that timeout. They got him for a delay of game.
A costly 5, 2nd and 7 as the result. Osweiler downfield battle, it touchdown. A throw to Mike Willie, the young man we told you about. The JC transfer out of Long Beach, California, now a senior.
And we're going to take a close look to make sure he got his feet down. He's got the football. He's got his feet down, and he looks, yeah, he gets into the end zone, balls across. But, Brant, I'll tell you what, if you're an Arizona State fan, this is good news. This quarterback last week, I think, grew up in the second half against Utah. It's continued early in this game against Oregon. It's a mismatch so far on the outside between the taller receivers and the Oregon cornerbacks.
Much cleaner by Garut that time.
The Ducks better get things going here, down 14-7. We've talked a lot about Darren Thomas and Kenyon Barner. Anthony Thomas, who they called the true freshman, already with a touchdown. And Eddie Pleasant's got to get on that sideline and provide some leadership for that defense.
They are without LaMichael James, the leading rusher in the FBS, and he had put together 3 fabulous weeks. Out indefinitely with a dislocated elbow, the same injury, Herbie, we are told, that he sustained down in Texarkana, Texas. During a high school game. He's having some fun. I don't know.
He's looking a little loose right now, isn't he?
He is itching to be out there. He said he was going to be able to play. He actually walked through during their preparation practice yesterday, but then he went over and had it retaped, and there was never really a chance that he was going to be able to play here tonight. So coming out from the 10-yard line on the kickoff is DeAnthony Thomas, the young man who scored the touchdown. And many of you remember he also fumbled the kickoff return in their first game against LSU. It was punched out.
When that Oregon defense comes back on the field and Nick Alioti's going to continue to try to make adjustments, you have to do something to get the quarterback Osweiler out of rhythm. They're paying so much attention to the short pass that it's leaving their corners one-on-one against these taller receivers. And remember, coming in, Osweiler's thrown over 50% of his passes about 5 yards downfield or less. So they're concentrating on the short throws, and he's burning them with some deeper throws.
It's only down there with quarterback and wide receiver Robinson. Now it's Darren Thomas's time, and he's been finding the tight end here tonight. They have not gone to Paulson much. And Grassu, the new center. Darren Thomas tells us he hadn't had a bad snap yet this year. And here's Barner, breaks free, breaks a tackle to daylight. Touchdown. And there's a penalty flag.
Illegal block below the waist on the offense. Yeah. Number 80. 15-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's 2-A.
And the way they described it to me, if you're a receiver and you're lined up to the left the way 2-A is, he can go down low on a defensive back if it's straight ahead, north and south, or to his left. If he goes back to the inside of where the ball carrier is coming and goes low on a defender, they're going to call the block. And that's what they got him for right there.
So the 50-yard, 59-yard run by Kenyon Barner comes back. And now basically they try the same play, but not this time. Eddie Elder, the defensive back.
There's been some confusion at times for some of these coaches, just right there. Just by coming back to the inside and going with the intent to go low, that's what the call was, even though it's a big play. Right there is another good look at
it. Second down and 10. And now they sprint DeAnthony Thomas, and he is thrown for a loss by Bo Moose, the son of the athletic director at Washington's. Third down and 12. Thomas goes too deep. Incomplete. Jamal Miles is back deep. And it is a switch out of that formation. And it looks like a trickeration formation. Short of the first down.
And that is the backup quarterback there, Brent. Brian Bennett who's got great speed. He turned the corner there with the purpose of trying to get there. It's interesting, the call here in their own territory. He's a quarterback, a backup quarterback that's got speed. I mean, he runs away from the defender that time, and he's looking like he might make it. I thought Anthony Jones might catch him from behind, but he didn't. But still, Arizona State's able to corral him, and it looks like they're going to actually measure them.
Did not get it. Chip Kelly told me once that he thought Bill Belichick made the right decision against the Indianapolis Colts in that game that many of you remember. When they went for it on 4th down, they were deeper in their territory. And now Kelly has given the ball back to Osweiler and the Sun Devils at midfield. Let's see what they come up with here offensively. Osweiler's throwing the ball brilliantly. He's a very good athlete, and he is down at the 50. And let's go to Reese Davis in the studio. Now Reese, and here the handoff is to Marshall, and this is going to bring up a big 3rd down. We have talked about Osweiler's athletic ability. Let me take you back to his high school days. After his sophomore year, Osweiler was offered and accepted a scholarship to Gonzaga, a basketball scholarship. He was one of the best high school basketball players in the state of Montana. And now he's playing football for Arizona State. He was going to also play basketball for the Sun Devils and decided not to when he became the lone man standing. And he comes back with another completion, and forced out of bounds is Rashad Ross. That's his first catch of the night.
You know what's interesting about his background, and Brent, I'm sure you were familiar with him out in Montana, is when you have an athlete who's that dominant, you tend to maybe let your guard down and understand about how hard you need to work and commit yourself when you get to the next level. The coaches have said between last year and this year, that's the difference, is now he's a student of the game. Now he really makes the sacrifice with the playbook and studying film to kind of take his game to the next level, and we're seeing that tonight.
And Herbie, that's why he did not play basketball. Arizona State wanted to concentrate on just what you're saying. He got a tremendous work ethic. Stephen Rivers, Philip Rivers' younger brother, is a backup at LSU. He too is 6'7", but the tallest of them all is Brock Osweiler. So we will take a break here as we come to the end of the first quarter. Two quarterbacks with the same tutor. Noel Mazzoni has been working on Tim Tebow's delivery for the last 2 years. Wants that arm up like it is. He takes over in Denver tomorrow. They wanted to get out of there faster. As far as Osweiler is concerned, he doesn't want the sidearm. He wants it to come up. Tebow would be here tonight, except he's starting tomorrow for Denver. So he and Mazzoni talk all the time, and they work together. There is put in the hands of Miles. Osweiler in trouble. Sacked at midfield.
And they finally got to him. The pressure came from the offensive line's right side, and that was a concern for them. Outside of when they got the ball out of his hands quickly, it was how would this offensive line hold up tonight in this environment with their communication. And that time, Nick Aliotti draws it up at the right time for the sack.
Timeout. Oregon. Timeout number 1.
Up to this point, boy, this is exactly the way Dennis Erickson drew it up. And Noel Mazzoni, when they looked at this plan, they thought, okay, we're going into a tough environment. I really think the win against Kyle Whittingham and Utah and the way they had to fight in the second half on the road gave this team a belief and confidence, along with what you're saying. They moved the ball against Oregon at home. They just turned it over. So I think they had confidence coming into this game.
Fair catch is signaled by Cliff Harris at the 14-yard line. Down by 7. Ooh. And going nowhere. Slammed down the 10-yard line and about Barner.
Barner pulled a trainer aside and asked to have his left foot and ankle taped up. And she said to him, is it tight enough? He walked around a little bit. Didn't look like he was too happy about it and said yes. And, of course, he's a guy that's had a hard time staying healthy, Brent. Got to keep an eye on that.
Bo Moose took him down again. That defensive tackle dropped.
And he put the ball right on the money. And when you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole, you cannot afford to be dropping passes like that.
3rd and 12 and in trouble. Back in the end zone, has to throw this one away. Incomplete and out of bounds.
Personal foul, roughing that passer, hands to the head of number 61. 15 yards, Automatic first down.
They're not putting a lot of pressure with a blitz. It's a four-man rush, and they go right by the Oregon offensive line. Moose is a big guy, and he hits him high, and you could see that Darren Thomas right away wants the call. But if they end up being able to put points on the board, we're going to look back at that play right there on third down, because that would have forced a punt, obviously, for the Ducks.
But instead, the ball is brought out to the 27-yard line, and Moose comes in and makes another play. So the young man who went to high school right here in Eugene, when his daddy was the AD, is having himself quite a night. That foul was completely accidental, but it was a good call. The hands were up, and the referee had called it immediately.
They said he has been fired up all week for this game.
Play fake. Darren Thomas goes deep downfield into double coverage, and it is caught by Huff. He comes right back. After being unable to hang on to one on the sideline, Huff puts the Ducks in business down at the 28-yard line, and that is a 45-yard play, Herbie.
And Huff goes right by Carr and gets behind the safety that time, Eddie Elder. With these safeties up tight, you've got to take some chances downfield. That's a good call by Chip Kelly, and a great throw and catch that time by the Ducks.
Now here they come right away. Thomas dances away from trouble. Throws in zone, touchdown! The quick strike, and it is 2-0. The young man who was guilty of that illegal block a short time ago, he makes the touchdown grab, and the Ducks are an extra point away from the tie.
What an effort that time by Thomas to get outside and break, contain, finds his man 2-0 in the back of the end zone, makes sure he gets his feet down with possession. Catches that football. There's a great look at it right there.
There's that setup for the two. If they get the read on it, they'll come right back into this formation. Maldonado, who has taken over for the injured Rob Beard. Beard kicked against LSU in that opener. Pulled a quad and hasn't kicked since, and there's a penalty flag.
Personal
Delay
foul.
of game on the offense.
There's Scott Frost, the former Nebraska quarterback and safety for the New York Jets, who works with the wide receivers. And he's enjoying life as an assistant coach here in Oregon, and doing a very good job, we might add. Maldonado tied up.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by New York Life Insurance Company.
We welcome those of you who just watched Matt Kenseth win the 500-mile at Charlotte as Carl Edwards slips into the lead in the chase. Here we've got a dandy brewing in Eugene, Oregon. 2 touchdowns apiece in the first half. The Ducks battling Arizona State for supremacy in the Pac-12, and Jamal Miles breaks a tackle and is thrown down.
It gives you an idea about the athletic ability of Darren Thomas, who's a quarterback. And he's a great athlete. He gets outside. I thought he might be throwing this ball over top of Josh Huff, but 2-8 comes over and is able to make a play and score the touchdown. And it's all because on this third down, Bo Moose ends up hitting the quarterback Thomas late to keep the drive alive.
Kyle Middlebrooks checks in as the running back for the Sun Devils. They've been unable to run the ball. Osweiler has completed 12 consecutive passes before he throws that one away.
But as soon as they see this, they're going to go to the outside. And when they see that, they take it away. And the quarterback that time, Osweiler, has nothing to do but just throw the ball into the feet of the running back, Middlebrook.
On 2nd and 10. Snaps it off complete to the 24-yard line, and Pflugrad, the son of the University of Montana coach, Robin Pflugrad, who was a winner today over Portland State. That's his second catch.
Oh, by the way,
man played at Oregon before transferring. His sister was a very well-known cheerleader here in Eugene. She's now living down in Arizona, and she's dating the offensive coordinator's son, Taylor.
Got the lowdown there. All covered.
Third down. Osweiler throws for a first down, and breaking away briefly is Willie.
Well, they are really having success coming back to the inside of this defense. And Brock Osweiler is now 14 of 17. He's hit a couple passes downfield, but really just doing a good job of mixing up the throws into the middle, out to the outside, wide to his running back Jamal Miles, and then, of course, downfield to guys like Robinson and Willis. Just a nice mixed bag of throws right now for this quarterback.
And slipping is Jamal Miles.
The thing that stands out when you're down in the field and watching him with his teammates, the intangibles, Brent. He is a tremendous leader. And when you go on the road in this kind of environment, that's very, very important to have that kind of guy. Great leader for this offense.
Osweiler standing tall again, fires it off for another first down to Jarrell Robinson.
Bobby Knight would love this guy, right?
No doubt.
I mean, there's another good look at how they're attacking the interior of this defense. They spread you from sideline to sideline, and then they come back to the middle, and he's able to read and find, whether it's zone or man, find the hole and make the throw. That time it was zone. Receiver sits down, and they make the throw for the first down.
That is a lateral as he slips it to Miles on the outside. Basically, that's one of their running plays when they do that.
Subtle reminder, and then they attack in different areas of the Oregon defense.
And his center is Garth Gerhardt, and he's a story, the 300-pound senior, as they slip another one to the outside and busting the tackles and running back Marshall. Let's go back to Garth Gerhardt for a moment. Many of you remember Toby Gerhardt, the outstanding running back for Stanford, now with the Minnesota Vikings. Well, number 52 is his younger brother. And yes, they have sisters, 3 of them who are triplets, and they too are outstanding athletes. Too high, incomplete. 4th down at the 49 on Cliff Harris. He is back. And he is a playmaker, the junior from Fresno, California. Let that one go into the end zone. Herbie, here comes Affleck going to break here, my friend. All right, Herbie, the Affleck trivia question. Pac-12 record, most pass yards in a single game. You're going?
I'm going C, Andrew Walter.
Good one. He threw for 536 yards in a 45-42 upset of Oregon back in 2002, and Barner's being ridden out of bounds. Now, bonus question.
Yes, sir.
Who was the quarterback coach? There is a penalty flag, so hold on here. There is Andrew Walter, 536 pass yards. Who was his quarterback coach at Arizona State? He is here tonight. No, he is working tonight.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds on the defense, number 7.
That's his second personal
penalty,
foul.
Oh, man.
Automatic first down.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Now, the first one was rather obvious. Let's take a look at this one.
It's borderline on whether he's out of bounds, but anytime you're going to come in high and you're number 7 for Arizona State,
exactly,
you're going to get called. That's second. We'll keep track of these tonight.
All right, now right after this snap, and Darren Thomas intercepted, picked off, headed for the end zone is Lyons. He fumbles it. Loose ball, recovered by the Ducks.
And they're going to say he's down, Brent, on the return. Consistency is something that Oregon needs to see from him when it comes to throwing the football. But Shelly Lyons makes the interception. He's down. Then the ball comes out. And Arizona State and Osweiler get great field position and create another turnover.
Marshall back in as the running back. Osweiler looking end zone, fires toward it, out of bounds.
We talked last year, Oregon had a chance to be able to create 7 turnovers and how that led them to a victory. Well, so far this year, it's Arizona State that's creating the turnovers now. Again, that's their second tonight.
Osweiler back again. Fires same spot. Robinson reaching for it. Sun Devils spread the field. 3rd down and 10 for Osweiler, who's 16 of 22. Incomplete. So the field goal from 37 yards by Garut. And Arizona State goes back ahead. Arizona State leads by a field goal, and they'll kick it off to the Ducks, and DeAnthony Thomas will let this go out of the end zone. I'll take you back to a moment in time earlier this year. There is Perfect. Barkley, remember, of USC, accused him of being a dirty player. But watch Perfect here with the interception. Look who makes the tackle. The USC quarterback. Now watch Perfect. Thank you very much. Now, if he'd play like that all the time, we wouldn't have these personal fouls, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? He's not really been able to live up to the hype. I mean, a lot of people felt like he might be the top defensive player in college football this year, but so far, up to this point, has disappointed the Arizona State defense.
Well, here's Barner. His best run was called back because of a penalty. Herbie, let me go back and clean up.
Okay.
Okay. Who was the quarterback coach at Arizona State when Walter had that huge night?
I'm going to say, because we're here, the Oregon offensive coordinator, Mark Helfrich.
You've had a great night.
Hi, I'm on fire.
2 for 2. You are on fire. There is Mark up in the booth. Really a nice young man. Was a quarterback in college. And terrific defense by Elder on the outside. Let's check in down below with Erin.
Brent, just to add a little bit more about Vontaze Burfict over here, when he was given his second personal foul, he came over to the bench and just basically hung his head for about good 3-4 minutes. He had every single teammate on that defense come over and tell him just pick his head up, keep playing hard, so he's down right now.
Interesting.
3rd and 6, and Thomas fires to Barner for a first down. He's a junior from Corona, California, 6'3", 252 pounds. There's Thomas off a play fake, hoofing it out of bounds, and in pursuit of him was Coleman. So there you can see, and Evan Finkenberg, as offensive tackle, is also out of this game. So they fire in underneath, and there's DeAnthony dancing. Burfict is over there on him and trying to yank it away, and I believe it was whistled down. And again, there's penalty flags flying.
So it's getting a little chippy out there right now.
Pleasant might have been headed for Burfict.
Yeah, I think
there's a possibility when we look at this replay that Burfict angered that sideline when he stayed in contact with the freshman.
It was Grasu, the center, I think, who went after him.
After the play, personal foul on the offense, number 55. The yard to gain was met, so down will be 1.
Grasu comes in late, whistle's already blown. There's Burfict right in the middle of your screen, and he gives him a little, hey.
Not with my teammates, you don't.
I'm not going to put up with that.
And that's when Eddie Pleasant, a defensive player, made the move from the sideline. And Kelly now in a discussion with him.
After the play, they enforced the penalty, so it is still a 1st and 10 for Oregon.
Ball back on the 30-yard line, and Barner is ridden down hard by Tuatea.
Good to see the Rangers. They lose Cliffley, and everybody thought, that's it. Rangers are done for the next year, but they put it together again this year.
And Barner.
Brent, everybody wonders how you stop Oregon. We saw LSU play Oregon in week 1, and we all walked away saying LSU's defensive line was just too stout for Oregon's offensive line. Well, right now, we're not seeing Oregon run the football the way we're accustomed to seeing them run the ball. 58 yards, and things can change, but so far, Arizona State's front four doing a really good job of getting penetration and beating up that Oregon offensive line when they're trying to run the football.
3rd and 6. Darren Thomas surrounded, slips it off to the outside, and it is short of the first down. They threw the pass to Thomas.
And it forces Darren Thomas. He was fortunate to get the football out of his hands and get it out there to DeAnthony Thomas, who had a hard time just getting out and away from the pressure of Jamar Jarrett.
Pflugrad will go back to receive this punt. So Coach Erickson wants the sure-handed Pflugrad back. Rice, Pflugrad at the 10-yard line will come upfield. No further than the 15.
What has been your favorite story in the NFL so far after 5 weeks?
Ndamukong Suh and the Detroit Lions.
How can you not love that team? And a healthy Matthew Stafford. Megatron on the outside.
And sadness with the Tiger fans. They were beaten 15-5 by the Rangers, who go back to the World Series now, having eliminated Detroit. Cameron Marshall, the running back. And brought down by Stuckey and Locambo. 2nd down and 6.
We talked about that running game of Oregon, and you said it in the first series. All that talk about we lose LaMichael James and we've got other guys that can step right in. I think it's a combination of James not being in there and the Oregon offensive line really struggling.
trying to get some semblance of a running game. You know, Herbie, in our conversation with Coach Erickson in our conference call, remember what he said? LaMichael James is special. And he said he's different than any of the other running backs.
Difference maker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's arguably the most explosive player in the country.
Complete for a first down to Ross, and Ross, one of their smaller receivers, jitterbugs away. He's 17 of 24. Gerhardt and his colleagues up front, Sampson, Marcis, Simmons, and Knapp have been doing a job. Osweiler takes off.
You got to remember that he's 6'8", 240 pounds, and he's matched up right there with a defensive end / outside linebacker, kind of a hybrid. But he gives him a little shake and tiptoes around him and picks up 6 yards.
Hands it off. Big hole in the running game, and Marshall explodes midfield. That is their best running play of the night.
It's the first time we've actually seen Marshall get open and have a little bit of room to work with. And Andrew Sampson does a good job of sealing that with a nice block right there on the linebacker, Stuckey. It opens it up. And I don't think Marshall knew what to do. He got that football and said, wow, look at this lane.
That was a beautiful block, Herbie. And he comes back again after the 17-yard gain. They seem to have found something over here on the right side. And remember, Simmons is back from an injury over there at the tackle alongside Sampson.
I think the variety of plays that they have run at Oregon's taking a toll. They're really attacking the Oregon linebackers through the air, but now also on the ground.
2nd and 5, and here's Miles on that little swing pass to the outside. He's got a first down for Arizona State. Osweiler fires complete, and Robinson makes a fine grab. He's a 6'4" receiver, and a penalty flag comes flying. You can see Robinson's reaction on the tackle. And let's get this one sorted out.
Big game.
Result of the play is the first down. After the play, personal foul on the offense, 15-yard penalty. The down will be 1.
Real quick look at how this opens up, Brent. We just talked about the linebackers flowing and moving with the motion and being aware of Miles just by moving him to the outside, then coming back to the inside. It opens it up for Robinson, and there's just no need for that. What are these two teams doing? Boyette gives him a little bit of a face guard, and then Robinson comes up and gives him a knee to the face.
So he goes to the sideline for Coach Erickson, going deep. Intercepted in the end zone. Willie falls down. Cliff Harris has got it.
Be careful.
He's at the 30. Got a block. Osweiler over there. And it goes free on the sideline, out of bounds. And because it's out of bounds, it will be Oregon football on the interception. As I told you, there's a penalty.
There was no flag for personal foul because the pass was intercepted. The block was legal.
So Cliff Harris.
Cliff Harris. Oregon fans have been waiting to see Cliff Harris get inserted back to the lineup. One of the top cover corners in the country, was suspended the first game in Dallas against LSU, has been back playing sparingly the last few games against Arizona and Cal, and they said he hasn't been practicing well. Willie goes down and makes it easy for Harris to just, as you said, he could have called a fair catch there on that interception.
That ball was free.
Yes.
And had it not gone out of bounds, the Sun Devils might have gotten it back. Now Darren Thomas working against at the 39-yard line. Let's watch this.
That is a heck of an effort, and Darren Thomas comes right back with a better throw.
That's Hoffman's first reception. Now he comes back to the right side. Daylight with Huff. Huff at the 20. Huff inside the 15-yard line. Burfeck back to make the stop.
When you take the Oregon Ducks on in Autzen Stadium, you might be able to control things for a quarter or for a half, but you've got to play 4 quarters because they can turn it on in a hurry. And 2 plays that are already deep inside Arizona State territory.
30 seconds left, first half. Fire end zone, grab, Paulson, touchdown!
A little rub route there, and Paulson, who has outstanding hands, definitely has possession of the football and gets the feet down for the touchdown. Beats the safety that time. Keelan Johnson to the corner.
Tacks on the extra point, and this all began with a turnover.
I wanted to ask Reese if Lou Holtz stays awake this late on a Saturday night.
A great effort by Paulson, a good throw, 3 plays. The Ducks just went right down. But I like the call by Chip Kelly. Paulson with a little bit of help from Huff. Huff goes to the inside, gets just enough by coming to the inside, is enough to be able to give Paulson some room to work back to the outside. You can see the hesitation there. The safety, Johnson had to actually wait until he could get out there to cover Paulson.
So the Ducks with a lead here late after the Harris turnover. And Miles is down with 24 seconds remaining.
And Thomas really caught fire there on that last drive, making big throw after big throw. And after the interception, where he had a poor decision and threw the ball right into coverage, where Arizona State was able to intercept it, you could see the maturity there with Thomas. And I think that's the big difference with him from last year to this year. He shakes it off and leads the Ducks right down for the go-ahead touchdown.
A.J. Pickens a little bit late, one of the wide receivers.
Chip Kelly's trying to get time out. You see him up at the top. He's sprinting about 20 yards. They struggled actually last week in the first half. Really cranked it up in the second half against Utah.
So Coach Erickson is content to head to the locker room here at
Cliff Harris not even listed on the 2 deep. Of course, his interception leads to that touchdown. What's it like having him back?
It's good to have him back, but he doesn't want to fumble it out of bounds. We got lucky with it at the end, though. But he's doing a good job. Practiced well this week.
Good to hear. Flags flying all over the place, getting a little chippy. What's your message at halftime about that?
We got to play with poise and play with emotion, but don't let emotion play with us. You know, that stuff's not part of football, and we'll take care of it when we get in the locker room.
Thank you.
Let's take a look, Herbie, at tonight's Good Hands play brought to you by Allstate. 31 of 42 combined and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, Osweiler really has gotten off to a good start, especially early in this game. Finding some receivers downfield. This is an amazing effort right there by 2-A, able to hold on to the football in the back of the end zone. And right before the half, the big tight end Paulson matched up one-on-one, and it gave the Ducks the touchdown. But we've seen some great catches by the tight ends and receivers from both of these teams.
The Ducks will have the first possession. They won the flip. They deferred. And coming out from the end zone, Thomas Jitterbugs, the freshman. He's got brilliant speed to the 25-yard line where they will put it in.
I think Darren Thomas is going to have to continue to throw the football. He did that in the first half, especially that last drive. Kind of get things going to eventually run the football. And if you're Arizona State, you go back to the drawing board and you don't change a whole lot. Osweiler was able to throw the football. They distributed. They moved it around to the outside on the perimeter, into the middle of that Oregon defense. Keep doing what they're doing and just protect the football. They've got to win the turnover margin tonight to win this game.
And Darren Thomas looking to put it up and right away, and it should have been caught. Huff couldn't get a handle on it.
You know, the underrated part of Darren Thomas's game is his passing ability. Remember against Auburn in the BCS championship game?
Absolutely. Threw for over 300 yards. They couldn't run the football. And Chip Kelly will tell you, when he recruits quarterbacks, he's looking for quarterbacks who happen to be athletic. Not athletic men who can end up trying to learn how to be a quarterback. And that's what he has in Darren Thomas.
Second down and 10, and Thomas, a good runner, slips a tackle, and he is short of the first down. And he's hurt. Uh-oh, hang on.
And Brian Bennett looks like he's going to warm up, the redshirt freshman.
Out of Encino, California.
See if he can walk off. Well, he wants to jog off. Parker, 21, Brent, right there, makes the tackle, and then when he comes down on that left leg right there, I think is what Thomas felt, and that's when he ended up holding the knee. But he jogged off of the field. Tremendously athletic. He's 7 of 13 on the year, but he can run the option.
On third down, Barner gets the handoff, and big Will Sutton read the play. He gambled on the effect that Bennett would hand it off to his running back, and the sophomore from Corona, California, good defensive tackle, makes the play.
Yeah, and you wonder there, with so much zone read in this offense, if that was a whiff by the offensive lineman or if he was trying to read Sutton. The problem is, even if he misread that, the defensive end, Jarrett, was waiting for him there as well.
Rice will punt it away, and a fair catch at the 33-yard line by Jamal. Darren Thomas is up, but he's going back to the locker room to receive some more attention. 72 yards. 2 touchdowns, laterals it out to Miles, and there's daylight for him. Still running. 45, 40, 30, 25. A terrific run by Jamal Miles, the junior from Peoria, Arizona.
Miles does a good job of cutting back inside. Now, where's the rest of the Oregon defense pursuing to the football? Nobody's there. That's a lack of effort from Oregon's defense in trying to chase down Miles. And if you let him get loose in the open field, you're not going to bring him down.
For Miles, Herbie. And now from the pistol, Osweiler will hand up. And Marshall, he gets 9 more. They're starting to gash the Ducks here.
Yeah, Brent, I just love the call. You hit him on a horizontal pass, a quick pass to the outside. You got him thinking about that, and you come right back to the interior of the defense, and you challenge those linebackers. DeWitt's stuck. He doesn't know which way the ball's going right now. Is it going to the outside? Are they running right at me, or are they going to throw it deep? They're really doing a good job of mixing up the play calling.
We're going to stay right with that pounding behind Sampson and Simmons as we take a look back at how they're doing in the red zone.
That they have an ability to execute and get the ball in the end zone, and I think it's because Osweiler is continuing to develop and become more confident in his decisions down in this area. But you got to beat man-to-man coverage against this Oregon defense down here. Or run it right over top of him.
Cameron Marshall, young man from San Jose, California, takes it to the end zone.
Great compliment to this offense and the way they want to attack you on the perimeter, and they mix in Marshall every once in a while to keep you honest up the middle.
During his brief 24-year lifespan, Steve Prefontaine grew from Oregon hometown hero to record-setting college phenomenon to internationally acclaimed track star. Had the pleasure of covering some of his meets here in Eugene. He was a great athlete. So this kickoff is fielded at the 10-yard line, and it is returned by DeAnthony Thomas out to the 31-yard line. And LaMichael James is not playing tonight because of a dislocated elbow that he suffered on this play following a penalty that nullified a touchdown. And then tonight, Darren Thomas, their quarterback, has been knocked out with an apparent knee injury, unless they call a timeout. And so Brian Bennett, the 6'3", 205-pound redshirt freshman, will check in, and all eyes are on him right now. And he'll hand off and go to the running game as quickly as they can, with LaMichael on the sideline watching. Kenyon Barner, who has had to pick up the slack for LaMichael, was the ball carrier.
Yeah, and Brent, this offense tonight has really relied more on Darren Thomas's arm than the option game. And we'll see if Bennett's able to spark them in the option game. But so far, Oregon moving the ball better through the air than on the ground.
Barner again breaks the daylight, and now they're starting to move a little bit on the ground. Perfect. Makes the stop on Barner and then helps him up as we go down to Erin for a report on the quarterback.
Brent, still no official word on Darren Thomas, but I have to tell you, everyone from Kenyon Barner to Josh Huff, who was with Darren when he was getting that knee looked at, they were very concerned. They were holding his hand, and when he went to the locker room, they all went over to the offense and looked very upset.
Well, now Barner has joined them on the sideline. He limps off. And now they will come back, and Lyons makes the stop on Trey Carson. Now let's talk about Trey Carson, folks. You know, Texarkana, Texas is the high school where LaMichael James set all those records down there. Well, this young man broke his rushing records a year ago. Not on the field very long, but Trey Carson, he's a 6', 227-pound freshman. Two freshmen out of Texarkana, and he goes right back off. And they come back with Thomas, the freshman. So he is capable as a running back. That's how he was recruited originally. And DeAnthony Thomas comes right out of that tailback spot for 29 yards.
It looks like Chip Kelly must have challenged his offensive line, because right now they're establishing things up front and getting this running game going with Bennett in there.
Bennett complete, just short of the goal line. Lyons saves a touchdown.
So they don't have James. They don't have Darren Thomas. Barner's limping off. They're playing with true freshmen in the backfield, a redshirt freshman quarterback, and right now they're answering the bell, moving the ball right down the field.
First down and goal. Touchdown, Thomas. Black Mamba strikes again.
That was impressive. Very, very impressive, and a big answer by this Oregon offense with a backup quarterback.
Aldonado adds the extra point. 54 seconds. 1 minute and 35 seconds. 24 seconds. A minute 50. Herbie, they strike so quickly you can't catch your breath.
And what happened on that minute 15 that last drive?
And here comes Miles. Out to the 31.
The thing that was so impressive is to see Brian Bennett come off the bench. He hasn't really played meaningful snaps this year. Steps right in. Barner with the first play. Great blocks downfield. Josh Huff, the receiver. Then they got the true freshman, DeAnthony Thomas, loose in the open field. He got downfield in a hurry. He completed one pass to Huffman, and then they come back again with Thomas. And the timing of that drive with Darren Thomas walking into the locker room to check out that left knee, very important, I think, for the psyche of this Oregon team and the crowd here at Autzen Stadium.
Rain starting to fall in Eugene. Osweiler can't find an open receiver. Now hits Miles. Second down and 8. Marshall powers his way close to a first down. And again, Arizona State and Dennis Erickson, along with Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, they obviously think they can muscle up here. Going to throw for it this time on third down. Great defensive play that time. Middlebrooks, the running back, didn't have a chance.
And it's interesting here that they decide to go to a running back motioning out of the backfield, and they throw it to Middlebrooks. Boyette gets a great jump on the route, comes in and knocks that football away, but they've had such success throwing to these receivers in those situations. Surprised that time that they motioned out Middlebrooks and threw to the back out of the backfield.
Fourth down and 2. Cliff Harris made the big interception in the first half. You'll let this punt roll inside the 15-yard line.
Word from the Oregon Ducks athletic training staff, Brent, Darren Thomas is done for the night. He, in fact, tweaked that left knee. That's all they're saying right now. He is in some pain. They are waiting to do some further tests. They simply don't know what's wrong with the knee right now. They told me he is in pain, like I said. And I asked how the test that they did on the training table came out, and they said, okay, but he's hurting.
Would you agree with that, Herbie?
Oh, I completely agree. And I'm looking at an offense that averages 50 points a game and over 500 yards of offense. And right now they're looking at having Brian Bennett, at least for now. We'll see down the road for this year. But Brian Bennett take over as a redshirt freshman at quarterback, and a true freshman, DeAnthony Thomas, back there in the backfield.
So the play
clock
is The play clock is out, Herbie. That's the announcement. So they're going to keep it on the field. So we will not see it either. And Bennett keeps it for a first down and some. 40-yard line, out of bounds on the far side, and Brian Bennett is ambushing this Sun Devil defense.
And see, this is what he can bring, where he's got a little bit more juice when he runs the option than Darren Thomas. He was a great track athlete in high school, and when he gets out there, he's not looking to just get a first down. He's looking to get outside and get down the sideline for huge yards. He's got different acceleration than Darren Thomas. Not quite the passer, but a better runner.
36 yards. Bennett now throws low and incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Barner, the intended target. Bennett keeps it himself. Beats the defensive back. Has another first down. Fumble! Is it out of bounds? Arizona State jumped up. I think they waved that he was out.
And Brent, watch again how quickly he can get around. I mean, you love to see these wide receivers from Oregon. If you're going to have big plays in the running game, he's down and the ball's out of bounds. If you're going to have big plays in the running game, you've got to have receivers willing to block downfield. Well,
I believe that the official called him down.
The runner was down before the fumble.
And I don't believe he was.
You're right about that.
They're going to take a look at this. This is going to cost them a few yards. I want you to watch, folks. This ball's coming out. No question that ball's out.
And Brett, watch the effort here. Watch the effort here. It's airborne. And he
now,
throws it back.
Was the defensive player down when he touched it in the air? Was he out of bounds?
He punches the ball before it goes out of bounds, but you're right. Where are his legs? Or is his body touching out of bounds as he knocks it back?
We're talking about the defensive player now, folks, because it was then picked up. The whistle had blown, and Arizona State picked up the loose football. Did he save it?
Look at that effort by Will Sutton.
Now Conway is the player who punched it out. Now the problem with this is this official that you see has blown the whistle and has stopped it. Now watch the defensive player right there. He picks the ball. The whistle has already blown. Okay.
Ball's still in play. Do you see him touch? I don't think his body touched out of bounds.
And the problem is the official has already killed it with that whistle. They're going to have to overrule that if they turn the ball over to the Sun Devils. Here we come.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Oregon ball, first down and 10.
If that's the ruling, it had to do with that whistle.
First down and 10 inside the 35-yard line. And here comes Barner. Barner across the 10-yard line.
Paulson, the tight end, does a good job. The center as well. Grasu picks up a block and gets a pancake on Colin Parker. They go back to the boundary with the numbers to their advantage for big yards.
29 more yards, and Barner picks for the touchdown. Picked his way right through the middle. Grasu, York, and Asper, the blockers for the Ducks. And now Oregon with its biggest lead of the night, and they have put up 400 yards of offense on Arizona State.
And Brent, how about Brian Bennett? Steps in the last two drives, takes his football team right down the field and puts two touchdowns up on the board, and they get the running game going with him in the lineup, something that they were not able to do with Darren Thomas.
And folks, it's another quick strike. 1 minute and 5 seconds for that touchdown.
Just another Saturday for the boys back there.
Indeed.
They just keep going.
Another Saturday for the Ducks, too.
I have a feeling he's not done.
And it will be Ross to the 26-yard line.
Had a lot of negativity. I think they need a big win this week to kind of cool some of that down.
Osweiler needs a big drive into double coverage, incomplete. The Ducks come off of the two deep. And Marshall runs it to the 32-yard line.
Better hit him low. He's 225 pounds.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 5-yard penalty, yardage gained, results in a first down.
Costly 5 yards against the defense. You saw as Darren Thomas comes out of the tunnel. Osweiler flares to Miles. Miles to the 40, spins. And it'll bring up a second down as he's met by a host of Ducks and the crowd. The student body reacting to the appearance of their quarterback. Right in front of that student section over there on the far side. But now you've got to wonder if Chip Kelly will risk it with an injured knee and the way Brian Bennett has performed on the last two drives. Down and 6. Miles, the motion receiver. Marshall flares. Can't beat the tackle. And that was Eddie Pleasant, the one-time linebacker, wrestling him down with a fine tackle, but Pleasant is shaken up on the play.
Well, here's a guy you cannot afford to lose if you're Oregon. So much focus on the Oregon offense, but with a defense that's so young, Eddie Pleasant's one of the veterans who's been around. An example of how he's really grown was that play. He is outstanding now in the open field. He's in perfect position that time to be able to defend Cameron Marshall.
His own teammate came right into the back of him accidentally as he came over the top. he got it off. There's a penalty flag on this reception.
Pass interference on the offense, number 8. 15-yard penalty, still third down.
That's Robinson.
Trying to figure out how that pass got out there. Lecumbo came on the blitz and hit Osweiler right from behind, and somehow he got the throw off, but Robinson just grabbed a hold of Avery Patterson with the ball in the air and got a hold of his face mask.
It was a fluttering ball. It was deflected, Herbie, from the back. That's not where he was intending to throw it. And it is 3rd down and 23. Deep down the far sideline, jump ball, incomplete.
3rd down, you're just going to take advantage of the size of Willie at 6'4", much smaller corner, and Troy Hill at 5'11", but Hill times the leap very, very well. High points the football, almost comes up with the interception for the Ducks.
Oregon starting to squeeze the life out of the Sun Devils here in the second half.
And those top 3 teams, it could be any of those. They're so close, but Oklahoma State sitting there at 4.
It's just a projection. You'll find out tomorrow at 8:15. Herbie will open the envelope and unveil all. Here's Barner, and it'll be 3rd down now. Bennett to throw. Forced out of the pocket, he'll throw it away.
Arizona State's defense getting the ball back to their quarterback, Brock Osweiler.
And Miles is back deep. Rice punts it to him. Fair catch is the signal. The 20-yard line. 3:51 left here in the 3rd. Well, 3 of our unbeatens, Herbie, fell today, and so there is our list. What I find is Michigan, Georgia Tech, and Illinois all lost today. What I find interesting is that Oklahoma State, according to Brad Edwards, could jump to number 4, and that's a very big spot.
And he also feels that because the Big 12 could be viewed by the computers as the strongest conference in college football, more so than the SEC, because of the way they played in the non-conference, Oklahoma State could control its own destiny with a big game with Oklahoma at the end of the year.
There's the handoff to Marshall. Do you suppose that's why Texas A&M is leaving? They've been shut down here their last couple of series. Osweiler is going down. Sacked at the 12-yard line by Stuckey.
They rush with 4, and eventually he's right here in the middle. He'll kind of hesitate, and then eventually he comes in. But again, Arizona State, they want to get the ball out now. And just by the fact that they're covering better downfield, I think it's making Osweiler a little bit uncomfortable, and you're seeing him look around and maybe feel that pressure more so than the way he was performing earlier in the game.
Textbook tackle that time by Stuckey, too, Herbie. He really wrapped him up beautifully. Harris slips and he's down. Bennett in at quarterback again, and why not? Tried to get the corner, got a couple of yards before Oliver Aaron from Gainesville, Florida, gets him out of bounds.
That's what Craig Bray has done, which means eventually Chip Kelly's going to take some shots downfield.
Here's Barner. Close to the first down.
See the hurry up here by Bennett.
Barner to the middle. Very close.
When you see the quarterbacks look over and they're trying to get a feel for what Chip Kelly wants, a lot of it has to do with are these safeties starting to cheat up or are they staying back?
And Barner explodes into the middle. Check that. That's DeAnthony Thomas who had checked into that running back spot.
And he reminds you of LaMichael James when he gets the football in his hands because of that explosiveness.
Agreed. Coming back again with him. DeAnthony's leaving. He's going over to Chip Kelly's sideline.
After the play, unsportsmanlike on the offense, number 6, dropping the ball in the defender's face. 15-yard penalty. Down remains 2.
You could see Coach Campbell with the young man there, Herbie. A learning spot for the freshman. Here it is right here. Watch the football. Drops it on him right in front of the referee.
I thought it was interesting, Chip Kelly telling us that he has really had his own meetings. You know, the running backs get together in the meeting room, the receivers get together in the meeting room, and Anthony Thomas gets together with Chip Kelly to go over both running back and receiver.
Third down and long after Barner is tackled by Corey Adams along with Jarrett.
To be a true freshman and to be able to get into this lineup, it takes a major commitment and sacrifice to study these plays and work with the head coach to be able to learn two different positions.
And you're still supposed to go to school.
Yeah, that's right.
This is where the great comedy Animal House was shot. So why not do a little shout between the third and the fourth quarter? And here we go. The Ducks lead it 35-24. And Barner with the first play of the final quarter gets a great block. And he is out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Elder.
That's a heck of an effort there on 3rd and 21 to get upfield. We just talked about Anthony Thomas and what he can do to this offense. Nice to see Barner come in and look healthy here. It offers that same kind of explosiveness here to get them to 4th and short.
Now Maldonado. And Maldonado with a strong leg nails it. Two teams, of course, could meet again. This could be a preview of the championship game as you look at the North and South divisions. You see Arizona State on the right. They would go to 3-1 in the conference, and the Ducks would climb to 3-0 in that battle with Stanford and Washington. But let's say that Oregon and Arizona State win, they would meet again right here in Autzen if this Duck lead holds up. Remember, it will be the home field of the team with the best record. And then it'll go to head-to-head, and that's why this game is so important.
It's interesting to look at the North and the South, and everybody kind of bracing for Oregon and Stanford. But Steve Sarkisian and the Washington Huskies have really improved this year. And Stanford, of course, plays Washington next week in Palo Alto for a big showdown in the Pac-12 North. So with USC not being eligible for the inaugural Pac-12 championship, Arizona State would really have to collapse, even with a loss tonight, to not be able to eventually get to the Pac-12 title.
This is a short kickoff. Here comes Miles from the 11. Got a hole. And it closes around the 30-yard line. And so here comes Brock Osweiler and the numbers for the night. You can see the comparison, and the difference is basically they threw a lot more in the first half.
Yeah, that, Brennan, I think the adjustments where Oregon has done a better job of matching up on the outside with the shorter corners against the taller wide receivers. We'll see if they're able to get some pressure. They have also gotten after Osweiler a lot better in these last couple series as well.
Miles comes in motion behind him. He's the flare man, but they're going to go downfield. Incomplete. Willie, the intended receiver.
And I think that's a mistake here by Arizona State. They've got two receivers going into the same area, both big, tall targets, but you don't want to run into the same area. You bring two defenders to the area as well.
Willie has an argument. He was hooked coming off the line. There is no question about it. 2nd down and 10. Back with Marshall, the running back.
Buckling his chin strap, trying to get ready there at right guard.
Trying to get the play call. Snap count. Osweiler steps away, and a beautiful completion. And Robinson breaks for the end zone. He'll be forced out of bounds in the red zone. And a big hit is taken on the sideline.
And Brent, remember that right guard, 77 Tello? He actually misses his man that time on a blitz, but really nice job by Osweiler stepping up into the pocket and eventually making that throw.
And the photographer took it full
Big
bore
time
from Robinson. Here's a handoff now to Marshall, and Marshall squirts inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Take a look at the end of this play, Herbie.
Well, this is what you always hate to see down there on the sidelines. Sometimes people are focused in on their job, and you don't see a player coming in on it.
He's saying I got a great picture of that rascal coming right at me. 2nd down and 7. There's that swing pass. Here's Miles to daylight. 10. End zone. Touchdown, and there's a penalty flag.
That looked like a hold, without a doubt.
On the offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul. Down step 2.
Look at 82, Herbie.
Yeah, he's right there.
The left.
Yeah, he's right there. Just locked up with him.
So it will come back to the 13-yard line. Osweiler, incomplete.
Some adjustments. DeWitt, Stuckey, and this time Michael Clay. Good job of being able to defend that, and that's the previous play where he just locks up there. Ozier does with Eddie Pleasant to bring that play back and prevent the touchdown.
Incomplete, and it brings up 4th down. Garrett, who has made the 37-yarder, now will attempt a 30-yarder. Nails this one too. Perfect. Back to within 11.
Very many teams this year. Aaron Rodgers playing out of his mind right now.
Isn't he though, Herbie? So this is going to be returned from the 13-yard line. Thomas jitterbugging. There's that escapability. What a future he's got. There's the Harris Interactive. 115 voters there. The USA Today coaches poll and the computer rankings. So it breaks down 33% apiece there. And Herbie, you'll open the envelope tomorrow night.
Yeah. Reese Davis.
I don't know why we did. Brad Edwards has already said Oklahoma's going to be #1.
He's got to figure it out. Everybody that complains about the computers, it only represents 1/3. It's the polls that represent, the humans represent 2/3 of the BCS standings.
And here's Barner. We take a look at Barner for the night, over 100 yards now. 22 carries for 101 yards. That's his 22nd carry of the night, replacing LaMichael James. But Thomas, the freshman, has rushed 6 times for 70 yards, folks. He's averaging better than 10 yards a pop, and he scored 2 touchdowns.
Arizona State has got to get the ball back to their quarterback. In order to do that, they've got to be able to take away these easy throws in the running game.
First down, though.
They've got to be able to take away that cushion against the receivers and attack downhill.
Hoffman's 3rd catch of the night. And now Barner stretching it out. Slips a tackle, crosses midfield, works the sideline, and he's out of bounds.
And here's the risk that the defense takes. You see 2 in the middle of the field, that's a safety, but he's got to be able to do that. I think he underestimated maybe the quickness of Kenyon Barner as Barner gets him and beats him to the corner and picks up more yards. But you've got to take that chance if you're that safety.
From the 28-yard line, they come back with Thomas, the freshman. And he is brought down by Bo Moose.
The other thing you got to do is they've got to try to strip the football, attack the football. D'Anthony Thomas has a lot of ability, but early in the year, especially in the LSU game that you and I saw in Dallas, he had a tendency to put the ball on the ground. Now, Chip Kelly says he's doing a better job of protecting the football, but Arizona State, desperation mode, has got to try to jar the ball loose.
Barner comes back in, finds the middle.
This is why Chip Kelly this week tried to tell people, I'm not, if LaMichael doesn't play, we're confident in Kenyon Barner. How about the vision and that quick cut there, that little jump cut that he made that allowed him to get upfield and got even more yards.
And down is Clint Floyd. They were down 3 points when he took over.
That's right.
This is first down and goal. Rolling right. Bennett fires, sliding, and incomplete. Second and goal. Come back with the running play. Flipped up on the 2-yard line.
He wants that hurry-up snap.
150 yards and a touchdown already. Looking for his second score. Not going to get it. 1. And now they'll back it up 5 yards to kick the field goal.
Yeah. I think that shows the appreciation that he has for Arizona State. He wants to get up by the 2 scores because he knows that with Brock Osweiler, they can put drives together.
This a 24-yard attempt for Maldonado, who has shown us a strong leg here. Knocks it through. And Herbie, just as you said, he puts it back on that 2 touchdown there. New Matthew Knight Arena, one of the best in the Pac-12. They had a scrimmage and a slam dunk contest, and there's Brock Osweiler. He played a lot of basketball up in Kalispell.
He come over for a couple dunks last night.
He needs to complete a couple of passes right now. 23-37. They pulled him off here in the second half completely. Fielded by Middlebrooks, and Middlebrooks is out to the 24. Osweiler.
Got to get it from somewhere.
Whoever's 6th or 7th. Yeah. They're going to flare. And Miles is eaten alive. Nothing doing. Well, Cliff Harris makes it. I'll tell you something, Herbie. This is the same thing we saw last year with Nick Aliotti. In the second half, after his adjustments, He shut down one team after another, and he's doing the same thing here tonight against Arizona State. There's the old coach upstairs. He was an offensive player himself, a running back, before he became a football coach. Osweiler steps away from trouble, and he'll just hoof it out of bounds.
You know, the big thing that they're doing for Nick Aliotti is they're getting off of blocks. They're more dialed into the coverage, and they're beating Arizona State up front. I mean, it was really no contest in the first half. Arizona State's offensive line was manhandling Oregon up front, and pass protection when they ran the football. Totally different story up front in the trenches now that Oregon's made some adjustments, better coverage, and better pressure on the quarterback, Osweiler.
Osweiler will take off, tries to get a first down, and could not. Got to go for it here, don't they? Dennis says, I'm not so sure. They were looking for something. There's a penalty flag.
Delay of game on the offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
And good special teams coverage. Herbie, you look lovely in 3D. We're on ESPN 3D tonight. They're televising 26 college football games. Interesting when you look at the cameras. Yep, just like you, ladies and gentlemen. Right eye and a left eye.
Have you seen it?
I have. In fact, we have a monitor. In fact, you have a pair of glasses here. You can go right over there. There's a monitor right over there, Herbie, and you can take a little look at it. You know, some of those big plays that Oregon, the Anthony
future,
Thomas,
right?
he comes right at you.
You have those at home out in Montana?
Can't afford it. 41-27. And it looks, Herbie, like the Ducks are headed for another W. The only game they've lost this year was the opener down in Arlington, Texas, to LSU. And they've overcome an injury to their Doak Walker winning running back and their starting quarterback here tonight, and they have taken complete command in the second half. 3rd down and 1 for Bennett, bringing the clock down, eating up a little time. Barner's got the first down, and they continue to eat away at the clock. And here's Barner stretching the clock out. Will try to stay in bounds, and he does just that.
Oregon's defense needed this kind of performance as they get deeper into their schedule in the Pac-12.
Perfect Gamble got through the gap. Bennett kept it, and then he was brought down by Parker. Not like last year when he went on that run. Remember, there's an NCAA inquiry.
Yeah.
They're looking into the amount of money that was paid to a scout down Texas way. Well, we mentioned some of those little clouds, and off the field, the NCAA reported looking into that $25,000 payment to the scouting service. Alonzo was arrested and suspended. Cliff Harris, he was busted and suspended, didn't play against LSU for driving too fast, and now the NCAA is looking into the allegations about the $25,000 payment. Interestingly enough, that the one player Chip Kelly was looking at, that running back, he's been turned loose. He's not even around here.
Transferred to Baylor.
Yeah, he's gone. And when you talk about the NCAA, of course, the big story this last week was no major violations for Auburn in the recruiting of Cam Newton, who led the Tigers to a BCS championship a year ago. So Chip Kelly and the Ducks are closing in on a victory here tonight. It could be a preview of the Pac-12 championship. Miles is back deep.
Wow.
Oh, great punt. The 5-yard line, 4:20. Well, let's look ahead to next week.
Next week with the Badgers coming to town.
You bet. Here's Osweiler. And Ross is upended by Patterson, who's on the field now as Aliotti brings in some of his reserves. There's that lateral pass out to Miles. They have really relied on that as the basis of their running game. It has been the story of two.
More physical. They've changed their scheme up a little bit, but I just think they're playing with a little bit more of an attitude, and they're being able to get off blocks, and they're playing better in coverage.
Osweiler goes to the middle, complete for the first down to Robinson. Saw a shot of number 20, John Boyette. John Boyette is the ringleader of this defense, and Daliotti just heaped praise on the young man from Napa, California. He was a terrific offensive player in high school, and he's had 7 tackles here tonight from that safety position. So Boyette calls a signal, sets the tempo for the secondary. Osweiler fires another first down. This one to Ozier. I believe that's Kevin's first catch of the night. I don't believe we called his number.
No, I think that is his first. You know, you have Boyette back there and Pleasant, both of the elder statesmen of that secondary and of the defense, along with Michael Clay. They're kind of the quarterbacks. They get everybody lined up right. Sitting back here in this prevent defense that's making Osweiler have time to throw and get back into a rhythm.
They were a little short. Webster gets it plus some. Busts into duck territory. Still running. Tough run. Overload the right side. Looking back to the boundary. And he'll throw it away. Middle. Jarred loose. Now it's 3rd down and 10. Fumble. Picked up by a big lineman who saved the moment. The ball out, and he is hurt.
How about Dion Jordan? 6'7", 240 pounds, has been really a force for this defense all year, but tonight, first time he's been able to get in there and get pressure. He just beat his man off the edge, and as you said, he's down, at least on the sideline now.
Got to go for it on 4th down. Jordan shaken up. It's looking like a mass sideline over there for Chip Kelly tonight. First down, Willie at the 23-yard line. Osweiler goes downfield, complete to the 21-yard line.
Oregon will take that all day. Arizona State forced to call their last timeout of the ball game.
So a school record, and it was chilly, rainy, and I don't think anybody, well, a few folks, but not many have left. 60,055.
Arizona State's either got to get the ball in the end zone or they got to get out of bounds.
Willie wide open. Gets to the 10-yard line as the defender gambled and lost on the play.
And not only does he get the first down, he's able to step out of bounds. Obviously, the clock will stop. A great effort and using every bit of his 6'4" frame to go up there and make the play. You talked about a gamble. You know who the gamble was by? Cliff Harris. And he's either going to give up a play or he's going to intercept that and go 85 yards.
Need a quick strike. Down 14. Fires end zone. Intercepted. It was a touchdown. It was 6. And when he couldn't hold on, Jamal Miles coughed it up, and Anthony Gilden sealed the fate of the Sun Devils.
Brett, how about Osweiler? He wants to throw the ball to the left and then comes back to Jamal Miles, who's had a great night tonight. I mean, he drops the ball there. Gilden's there. He makes the interception. But the quarterback, what you couldn't see is he was dialing up the receiver to the left, Mike Willie. He wanted to go to him on the left, but he was double covered. He came all the way back to his right and threw a bullseye right at Jamal Miles, but he couldn't hold on to the football, and Gilden is fortunate to be behind him and get the tip back.
Barner tonight, replacing LaMichael James, rushes for 171 yards, and that's a new career high for number 24.
Great effort here by Oregon, considering everything that they faced this week, and then losing Darren Thomas. We're going to keep a close eye. I know Chip Kelly will keep it close to the vest this week about the injury and about how severe it might be, but Brian Bennett becomes a big story with the way he stepped in and helped spark this offense in the second half.
Two good buddies, Dennis Erickson and Chip Kelly. Oregon 41, Arizona State 27. Let's go down below with Erin.
Well, a big play by your defense there in the end, but the big question all week long will be about your quarterback, your offense. What do you know about Darren Thomas's injury?
He gets injured in the game. Hey, will you shut up?
Thank you.
We don't know. We'll get inside and figure it out.
What did he say to you when he came out of the locker room?
That he wanted to play.
And what'd you say?
I said, I think we got a lead right now, and Brian's doing a good job.
What did you think about Brian's effort tonight when he came in?
Outstanding. You know, a young kid comes off the bench. His first game experience, really. He played in a couple blowouts earlier in the year, but real credit to him. I thought he played with some poise. First time ever playing in a game. He'll remember this night.
And then finally, you said your backfield would be okay without LaMichael. How would you evaluate their performance?
I thought they did a good job. The fumble early. Kenyon said, my bad, we'll get back to it. But I thought they did a really good job. That's a good defense. So that's a good football team. So.
Thanks, Chip.
All right, thanks, Ian.
Do you think we'll see? Will you shut up again?
Hey, man. You wonder why his quarterbacks get that attitude, that leadership right there in those meetings with him.
Absolutely.
Back off, boys.
Back off.
I'm trying to talk to the ladies.
That's right. Be a gentleman down there on the field, huh?
So there we have it. Ducks a winner here tonight. And up next on ESPN, it's SportsCenter.